The alien space station Cartal Prime floated in silence near a dying blue star. It was one of the largest military stations in the Galactic Alliance. Massive, cold, perfect. Inside the station was a circular training deck made of layered alien steel. The floor was smooth and dark, marked with glowing lines that showed combat zones. The walls curved upward, filled with bright white lights and scanning panels. This place was built for warriors. Today, it was built for judgment. Captain Arya Hale stood alone at the center of the deck. She was human. She wore a simple black training suit. No armor. No weapons. Her dark hair was tied back tightly. Her face was calm, but her jaw was set. She did not move. Around her stood more than 20 alien soldiers. They were tall, broad, covered in advanced armor. Some had sharp eyes. Some had scales. Others had pale skin and glowing veins. Every one of them was stronger than human. At least, that is what they believed. Low laughter echoed across the deck. "Is that?" one alien said, his voice rough and deep. "That's a human?" another asked. A few soldiers leaned closer to each other, speaking loudly on purpose. "She looks fragile. Earth gravity is weak. Their bodies never adapted. Why is the Alliance wasting time on this?" Arya heard every word. She did not react. Humans were new to the Galactic Alliance. They were allowed trade, allowed travel, but never trust, never command. Most species believed humans were soft creatures from a gentle world. They were wrong. At the edge of the deck stood Commander Varkesh, a towering alien officer with metallic armor fused into his body. His eyes glowed faintly as he looked at Arya, not with anger, but with doubt. "This test is simple," Varkesh said, his voice filling the room. "One strike. No weapons. No enhancements." The alien soldiers laughed again. "One strike. What is she supposed to do? Hurt the floor's feelings?" Arya slowly removed her gloves and placed them beside her feet. The laughter grew louder. The commander raised one clawed hand, and the noise faded. "The training deck beneath you," he continued, "is built to endure tank-level force. It has never failed." His eyes locked onto Arya. "You will strike the floor. Controlled. No tricks." A pause. "If you fail, humans will be removed from elite military consideration." The meaning was clear. This was not just a test. It was a final chance. Arya took a slow breath. Her boots echoed softly as she stepped forward. The lights above her brightened, and scanning beams passed over her body. Numbers flashed on distant screens. Several aliens leaned closer, watching the data. Her muscle density is low. Bone strength unimpressive. Exactly as expected. Arya stopped at the center mark. She lowered herself onto one knee. The deck felt cold beneath her skin. She placed one hand on the floor, steadying herself. Her other hand slowly clenched into a fist. The room grew quiet, not because of respect, but because everyone was waiting for the failure. Arya's mind drifted. Just for a moment, she remembered Earth. She remembered running as a child under heavy skies, falling, standing back up, pain that never asked permission, gravity that never forgave weakness. She remembered training camps built in mountain ranges, steel weights, broken bones that healed stronger, endless drills under crushing force. Earth did not care if you were ready. Earth only cared if you survived. "Captain Hale," the commander said, "you may proceed." Arya opened her eyes. The lights reflected in them like distant stars. She shifted her stance slightly, grounding herself. Her fist hovered inches above the floor. One alien soldier shook his head. "This is pointless," he muttered. "Humans are not built for this." Another smirked. "Let her try. It will be entertaining." Arya exhaled slowly. She felt the deck beneath her, the vibration of the station, the pull of artificial gravity, lighter than Earth's. Too light. For a brief second, doubt touched her mind. Not fear, responsibility. If she failed, humans would remain small in the eyes of the galaxy. If she failed, nothing would change. Her fist tightened. Muscles in her arm hardened. cord standing out beneath her skin, her shoulders lowered, her body aligned, not for speed, but for force. Somewhere in the deck, a sensor beeped softly. An alien officer frowned. That reading doesn't make sense. Arya drew her arm back slightly. Not far, just enough. The entire room seemed to hold its breath. Her knuckles hovered over the steel surface. And then she punched. The sound of the punch echoed across the training deck. But nothing broke. For a brief moment, the floor remained smooth and unmarked. Silence filled the room. Then laughter exploded. Loud, sharp, cruel. Several alien soldiers leaned back, amused. That was it, one of them said. I expected at least a dent. Another laughed. Humans truly are weak. Commander Varkesh narrowed his eyes. His scanner showed no damage. The deck was intact. Perfect. Arya Hale remained kneeling. Her fists still touched the floor. She did not move. The aliens mistook her stillness for shame. Stand up, human, one soldier called out. The test is over. Another added, at least you tried. Arya slowly lifted her hand. Her knuckles were slightly red. Nothing more. A few alien officers turned away, already losing interest. To them, this outcome was expected. Predictable. Commander Varkesh sighed. So this is the limit of human strength, he said. Disappointing. He raised his hand to signal the end of the test. Before he could speak again, a low sound rolled through the deck. Not loud, not sharp, deep, like metal groaning under pressure. One alien paused. Did you hear that? The floor beneath Arya's fist began to vibrate. Tiny lights flickered across the glowing lines in the deck. Arya slowly stood up. Her face was calm, her breathing steady. Behind her, a thin crack appeared in the steel. Someone laughed again, then stopped. The crack spread, slowly at first, then faster. What is happening? An alien shouted. Warning lights flashed red. A loud alarm echoed through the chamber. The floor beneath the center mark fractured outward like broken glass. Steel plates bent inward. The deck collapsed with a thunderous roar. Alien soldiers stumbled back as a deep crater formed where Arya had struck. Dust and sparks filled the air. When the noise faded, the room was silent once more. Arya stood at the edge of the shattered floor. Unharmed, the training deck, designed to survive war, had failed. Commander Varkesh stared at the damage, his eyes wide. That is impossible, he whispered. Engineers rushed forward, scanning the broken steel. Their devices screamed error messages. Structural failure confirmed. Material density compromised. This deck should not break. The alien soldiers backed away from Arya. Some looked confused. Others looked afraid. Arya flexed her hand slowly. Permission to explain, she said calmly. Commander Varkesh turned to her. Explain, he said. Arya pointed to the shattered floor. You tested strength, she said, but you don't understand where ours comes from. The commander folded his arms. Explain, he repeated. Arya took a breath. Earth has stronger gravity than most worlds, she said. Every movement we make is heavier. Every fall hurts more. Every step costs energy. She looked around the room. Our bones grow denser. Our muscles compress, not stretch. Pain is normal for us. The alien scanners began updating. One officer gasped. Her bone density is increasing, he said. Muscle fiber compression adapting. Arya continued. We train under pressure from birth. We don't notice it anymore. She looked at the broken deck again. This station's gravity is light, she said. To me, it feels like floating. The room was silent. One alien soldier stepped forward slowly. You held back, he said. Arya nodded. Yes. Fear spread across the deck. Commander Varkesh straightened. You could have destroyed more, he said. Yes, Arya replied. But that wasn't the test. The commander studied her for a long moment. You embarrassed us, he finally said. Arya met his gaze. No, she said softly. You embarrassed yourselves. A tense silence followed. Then Commander Varkesh spoke again. This changes nothing, he said. One punch does not prove battlefield value. Arya nodded. Then test us again. Us? The commander asked. The doors at the far end of the deck opened. 5 more humans walked in. Men and women. Different sizes. Different builds. All calm. All focused. The alien soldiers shifted uneasily. Commander Varkesh stared at them. What do you propose? He asked. Arya's voice was steady. A full combat simulation, she said. No weapons. No armor. Your best unit against ours. A murmur spread across the room. That is madness, one officer said. They're only humans. Arya smiled faintly. That's what you thought before, she said. Commander Varkesh considered the shattered deck again. Then he looked at the humans. Finally, he nodded. Prepare the arena, he said. Begin the trial. As alarms sounded and systems reset, Arya rolled her shoulders once. The storm had not passed. It had just begun. The combat arena was larger than the training deck. It was a wide circular chamber with tall walls and floating platforms. The floor was rebuilt with fresh alien steel, thicker than before. Defense drones hovered near the ceiling. Energy shields shimmered faintly along the edges. This place was meant for war practice, not for humans. Arya Hale stood with the other 5 humans at the center of the arena. They did not speak. They did not need to. Across from them stood the elite unit of Kartal Prime, 8 alien warriors, each wearing heavy combat armor. Their weapons were disabled, but their suits enhanced speed, strength, and reaction time. To the aliens, this fight was meant to restore pride. To the humans, it was just another test. Commander Varkesh watched from above. This will be a non-lethal combat simulation, he announced. Submission or incapacity ends the trial. The alien soldiers activated their armor systems. Blue light flowed across their bodies. Muscles expanded. Claws extended. One alien rolled his shoulders and laughed. They think numbers will help them, he said. Break them quickly. The signals sounded. The aliens charged first. Fast, sharp, coordinated. 2 of them leapt high, aiming to strike from above. Another rushed straight at Arya, claws ready. Arya moved. Not fast, not flashy. She stepped to the side and grabbed the alien's arm as it swung toward her. The alien expected resistance. He did not expect weight. His balance broke instantly. Arya twisted, using his own momentum, and slammed him into the floor. The steel dented. The alien gasped, stunned. At the same time, one of the humans, Lieutenant Mason, took a direct hit to the chest. His body slid back several meters. The aliens laughed. Then Mason stood up. He wiped blood from his lip. Is that all? He asked. He rushed forward. Another human, Sergeant Amani, ducked under a strike and drove her shoulder into an alien's waist. The impact lifted the armored warrior off the ground and sent him crashing into the wall. Cracks spread across the surface. The alien unit hesitated. Something was wrong. Their attacks landed, but the humans did not fall. Human muscles absorbed impact instead of bouncing away. Their bones did not shatter. They bent. They endured. One alien aimed a heavy kick at Arya's head. She raised her arm and blocked it. The force pushed her back, but her feet stayed planted. She stepped forward and punched once. The alien flew backward and collapsed, armor sparking. Above the arena, alien officers stared at their screens. This makes no sense, one said. They should be injured. Scans flashed across the display. Commander Varkesh leaned forward. Run full biological analysis, he ordered. The data appeared. Human muscle fibers, compressed and layered. Bone structure, dense, reinforced by microfractures healed over time. Pain response, controlled, trained. They are built to survive damage, an officer whispered. In the arena, the fight grew more intense. The aliens changed tactics. They attacked together, surrounding the humans, striking from multiple angles. For a moment, the humans were pushed back. One human fell to one knee. The aliens moved in, confident again. Then Arya spoke. Hold the line. The humans shifted formation instantly. They stood closer. shoulders almost touching. Alien blows struck them again and again. Still they held. Then the humans pushed forward, not with speed, with pressure. Every step they took forced the aliens back. Every strike carried weight the armor could not cancel. One alien roared in frustration. "This is impossible," he shouted. Arya looked at him calmly. "You train in safety," she said. "We train in survival." She grabbed him by the chest plate and lifted him off the ground. The alien struggled, shocked. Arya slammed him down. The arena floor cracked beneath the impact. The remaining aliens froze. Breathing hard, they looked at their fallen unit. 3 were down. 2 were barely standing. The humans stood tall. Sweat ran down their faces. Bruises formed, but they did not retreat. Commander Varkesh raised his hand. "Enough," he said. The signal sounded again. The fight ended. Medical drones rushed into the arena. They scanned both sides. The results were clear. Alien injuries, severe bruising, fractures, nervous shock. Human injuries, minor cuts, muscle strain. The silence that followed was heavy. The alien soldiers lowered their heads. Commander Varkesh descended into the arena. He stopped in front of Arya. "You fought without rage," he said. "Without fear." Arya nodded. "That's how we live." The commander looked at the humans behind her. "You are not weak," he said slowly. "You are dangerous." Arya met his gaze. "We don't want war," she said. "But we won't be looked down on again." Commander Varkesh straightened. "This trial is not over," he said. "The council will decide what you are." Arya nodded once. "Then let them watch," she said. As the humans walked out of the arena together, alien eyes followed them. Not with laughter this time, with respect, and with fear. The Galactic Council chamber was silent. It was a vast hall shaped like a ring, filled with floating platforms where representatives of different species observed from above. Light flowed softly through the chamber like water, reflecting off polished metal and crystal walls. At the center stood a single platform. On it stood Captain Arya Hale. She was alone again. Above her, massive screens replayed the combat trial from every angle. Every strike, every fall, every crack in the arena floor. The council members watched without speaking. Some leaned forward, some whispered. Others stared with cold, unreadable eyes. Commander Varkesh stood beside the platform, his posture stiff. "The results are confirmed," he said. "The humans demonstrated strength beyond projections. Their biology adapts to sustained force." A tall, insect-like counselor spoke first. "This must be an error," it said. "No species develops such density without augmentation." Another counselor replied, voice sharp. "They claim no enhancement, only homeworld conditions." Murmurs spread across the chamber. Arya remained still. She did not interrupt. The council replayed the moment where Arya lifted the armored alien and slammed him into the floor. The image froze on the crack, spreading beneath her fist. One counselor leaned back slowly. "If this is true," it said, "then humans have been misclassified for centuries." Another answered, colder, "Or they hid their true nature." The words hung in the air. Arya finally spoke. "We hid nothing," she said calmly. "You never asked." Silence followed. The insect counselor tilted its head. "Explain your world," it demanded. Arya nodded. "Earth has heavy gravity," she said. "It pulls on us every second. When we are born, we struggle just to move. When we fall, it hurts. When we grow, our bodies must fight the planet." She paused. Only the strong survive childhood. Only the stubborn survive adulthood. Images appeared on the screens. Children running under gray skies. Workers lifting heavy loads. Soldiers training in brutal conditions. "This is normal for us," Arya said. "We don't see it as strength. It's just life." A reptilian counselor hissed softly. "You weaponize your own evolution." Arya shook her head. "No," she said. "Earth did." The council watched as medical scans appeared. Data showed human bones layered like stone, muscles compacted into dense fibers, nervous systems trained to endure pain. Fear spread quietly. A counselor whispered, "If they were born like this, what happens when they train? Commander Varkesh answered. You saw the result. The insect counselor's voice hardened. This makes humans a potential threat. Arya looked up. To whom? She asked. To everyone, another counselor replied. Arya's expression did not change. We don't conquer worlds, she said. We protect our own. A pause. And when your own are threatened? The counselor asked. Arya did not answer right away. When humans are cornered, she said slowly, we push back. The room grew colder. The counselors exchanged looks. One of them stood. We must consider restrictions, it said. Human expansion. Human military presence. Murmurs of agreement followed. Commander Varkesh clenched his fists. With respect, he said, you invited them. You tested them. Now you fear them. The counselor snapped. Fear is wisdom. Arya raised her head. No, she said. Fear is ignorance. The chamber stirred. You mocked us, Arya continued. You placed us in labor roles. You laughed at our limits. She gestured toward the screens. This is what happens when you finally look. A younger counselor spoke, uncertain. If humans are so strong, why have they not attacked? Arya met its gaze. Because strength is not hunger, she said, and power does not mean cruelty. The council fell silent again. Then alarm sounded. A sharp, piercing tone. One of the observers shouted. Unidentified vessels entering Alliance space. Screens changed instantly. Dark ships appeared near the outer borders. Sleek, armed, unknown. Another voice panicked. Hostile configuration confirmed. The council erupted into chaos. Pirate clans? No, these signatures are different. They are moving toward civilian sectors. Commander Varkesh turned to Arya. Can your people respond? He asked. Arya did not hesitate. Yes, a counselor protested. You cannot trust them. Varkesh snapped back. You have no one else. The ships were fast. Too fast. Alliance fleets would arrive too late. Arya looked up at the council. You asked what happens when our own are threatened, she said. Now you will see. The council hesitated. Then the insect counselor spoke, voice tight. Deploy the humans. Arya turned and walked away from the platform. As she exited the chamber, whispers followed her. Not mocking, not laughing, afraid. The humans were no longer a question. They were an answer, and the galaxy was about to learn what that meant. The Alliance command deck was in chaos. Holographic maps filled the air, showing enemy ships moving fast through civilian space. The unknown fleet was cutting through trade lanes, ignoring warnings, and firing on defense stations while slowing down. They are not retreating, an officer shouted. They are hunting. Commander Varkesh stood at the center, his voice sharp. Alliance fleets will arrive in 30 minutes, he said. That is too late. Captain Arya Hales stepped forward. Then we go now, she said. Behind her stood the human response unit. No heavy armor, no glowing weapons. Just humans. Their ships were smaller than Alliance cruisers. Thicker hulls, fewer energy shields. Built for impact, not elegance. The alien officers watched in doubt. Those ships are outdated, one said. They will be destroyed. Arya did not argue. Launch, she ordered. The human ships surged forward. Instead of spreading out, they flew straight toward the enemy formation. Are they insane? An officer whispered. Enemy ships fired first. Bright energy beams struck the lead human ship. The shields failed instantly. The officers gasped. Then the ship kept flying. Smoke poured from its hull, but it did not slow down. Human ships did not dodge. They absorbed. They're not retreating, someone yelled. The human formation slammed into the enemy line, not with weapons, with mass. One human ship collided directly into an enemy cruiser. The impact tore through both hulls. The enemy ship broke apart. The human ship split in half, but its crew had already evacuated into armored pods. Boarding pods fired. Dozens of them. They punched into enemy ships like bullets. Inside the enemy vessels, alarm screamed. Human soldiers burst through walls. Close combat began. The enemy species relied on distance and energy weapons. They were fast, sharp, but fragile. Humans grabbed, pushed, crushed. One human soldier took a blade to the shoulder and kept moving. Another was thrown across a corridor, stood up, and charged again. Enemy warriors panicked. "These humans don't stop," one screamed. They didn't. Pain slowed them, but it did not end them. Aria's ship breached the largest enemy vessel. She led the charge. Her boots hit the floor hard. Gravity here was lighter than Earth's. She felt powerful. Enemy soldiers rushed her. She met them head-on. One strike shattered armor. Another sent bodies flying. Her movements were simple, efficient, no wasted motion. Behind her, humans advanced like a wall. The enemy commander watched from a control room, fear in his eyes. "What are they?" he whispered. Arya reached the bridge. The enemy commander raised a weapon. She caught his arm and crushed it. The weapon fell. "You attack civilians," she said. The commander screamed. "You were never supposed to be strong." Arya pushed him to the floor. "We never needed permission," she replied. She signaled her team. The ship's engines were destroyed. Power failed. Across the system, similar scenes unfolded. Human boarding teams disabled ship after ship. Alliance officers watched in disbelief. "They're winning," someone said quietly. Within minutes, the enemy fleet was broken. Some ships fled. Others drifted, powerless. Silence returned to space. Human ships regrouped. Damaged, scarred, victorious. Back on the command deck, the Galactic Council watched the final reports. Civilian sectors secured. Enemy threat eliminated. Casualties were listed. Human losses were high, but they had not retreated. They never did. Commander Varkesh turned to the Council. "They fought knowing they would be hurt," he said. "They fought anyway." The Insect Counselor spoke softly. "They're not like us." Arya returned to the station hours later. Her armor was cracked. Blood dried on her sleeve. She stood before the council once more. "You asked if we were a threat," she said. "Now you know what we do." The council was silent. Finally, one counselor stood. "Earth is hereby reclassified," it said. "High-gravity combat species." Another added, "Humans will be granted equal military authority." A third spoke, voice unsure. "And what do humans ask in return?" Arya looked around the chamber. "Respect," she said, "and honesty." The council agreed, not because they wanted to, but because they understood. As Arya left the chamber, Commander Varkesh walked beside her. "They will fear you," he said. Arya nodded. "That's fine," she replied, "as long as they never underestimate us again." Outside the station window, human ships drifted quietly, scarred, unbroken. The galaxy had mocked human strength. Now it remembered it. Weeks passed after battle. Across the Galactic Alliance, stories spread faster than official reports ever could. Civilians spoke of human ships that did not retreat. Soldiers whispered about warriors who fought through pain. Commanders rewrote training manuals overnight. The galaxy had seen strength before, but it had never seen endurance like this. On Earth, news arrived late, distorted by distance and politics. But when the truth reached the public, cities went silent. People watched recordings of the shattered training deck, of humans boarding enemy ships with bare hands and broken armor. They did not cheer. They nodded, because they understood. Earth had always been heavy. Captain Arya Hale stood on a balcony overlooking Kartal Prime's main docking ring. Below her, alien and human ships worked side by side, repairing damage from the battle. Commander Varkesh joined her. "You changed everything," he said. Arya shook her head. "No," she replied. "We just stopped hiding." Varkesh watched a group of alien recruits struggling with new training equipment calibrated for higher gravity. "They are trying to copy you," he said. "They will fail," Arya answered calmly. "Why?" "Because they think strength is something you turn on," she said. "For us, it never turns off." The Galactic Council met again soon after. This time, Arya was not alone on the central platform. She stood with a human delegation, soldiers, engineers, doctors. Ordinary people who had lived under heavy skies all their lives. The council chamber felt different now. Quieter, more careful. The insect counselor spoke first. "We underestimated your species," it said. "We believed softness meant weakness." Arya did not respond. Another counselor continued. "We believed intelligence and technology mattered more than biology." Arya folded her hands behind her back. "You were wrong," she said. The counselor lowered its head slightly. "Yes," it said. A formal declaration appeared on the screens. Earth, founding defensive power of the Galactic Alliance. Murmurs filled the chamber. Not anger, not mockery, respect. One counselor asked a question many feared. "If humans are this strong, what stops you from ruling us?" Arya looked up slowly. "Because ruling is easy," she said. "Protecting is hard." She gestured to the human delegation. "We were born under a planet that never cared if we lived," she continued. "So we learned to care for each other instead." The council listened. "We don't want your worlds," Arya said. "We want a galaxy that doesn't break when things get heavy." Silence followed. Then agreement. Across Alliance space, humans were reassigned, not as laborers, not as curiosities, but as anchors. They reinforced defenses on unstable worlds, trained mixed-species units under higher gravity, took on missions others could not survive. Some aliens still feared them, but none mocked them again. Years later, a new training deck was completed on Cartal Prime. Stronger, thicker, built using human engineering principles. At its opening ceremony, young recruits gathered, alien and human together. A human instructor stood at the center. He pointed to the floor. "This deck can break," he said. "So can you." The recruits looked confused. He continued. "What matters is what happens after." He struck the floor lightly with his boot. It did not crack. "This isn't about strength," he said. "It's about staying standing." High above, Arya watched the ceremony. Her hair was streaked with gray now. Her body carried old scars. But she stood straight. Commander Varkesh joined her once more. "The galaxy is changing," he said. Arya smiled faintly. "It always was," she replied. "It just needed a push." Varkesh looked at her. "Will humans ever stop surprising us?" Arya looked out at the stars. "No," she said. "We surprise ourselves too." Far away on Earth, rain fell on concrete cities. Children ran under heavy skies. Workers lifted heavy loads. Soldiers trained under crushing force. Life went on. The galaxy would never fully understand Earth, but it would never forget it either. Because once, when the galaxy laughed, a human knelt, and with one punch, she reminded everyone what survival looks like.